All right. Welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. Let's get started on the questions. Okay, first question. Is there a way currently or plan to provide scheduled automatic Excel export? Well, so far we have automatic Excel export, but to Dropbox or Google Drive or of a particular listing sheet or custom view. Well, we do have automatic Excel export. So to do this, let me just in case that you don't know how to do this, you can do a schedule report. You can schedule a new report, and you can apply a view and save it to download as a file name and email it to a certain address. But right now, we don't really have a way to save it to a Google Drive or like an online cloud drive location. So yeah, right now we don't really support this, and not super sure. No, why you cannot do this with an email address. Maybe there's a lot of data, but that's kind of what we want to avoid doing, is that to read through maybe millions of records on a daily basis and write it out, exporting it to another place. So we're kind of avoiding that by design, so that when you're saving it to an email address, it's not going to be a super huge big file. So currently we don't have plans to do this saving to Dropbox or Google Drive. And if you have some kind of very general use case that you think would be helpful for lots of other customers, and feel free to let us know, and we can see if we can come up with a good solution for those kind of requirements. But currently we're not planning on doing the scheduled reports to saving to Google Drive or Dropbox. But we do support sending it to an email address. Periodic export of sheet data, sending to an email address, but we don't support saving it to Dropbox or Google Drive yet. Feel free to let us know about the use case for this, and we can see if we can find a solution for it. All right. Okay, from the chat room, Suraj. Not sure if you have a question. Hello. Okay, next question. Location field in Ragic. Yeah, we do accept. Yeah, we do. I do accept questions live. So feel free to ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions on the question sheet and also from the chat room. So feel free to leave your question in the chat room, and I'll find a time during the office hour to answer your question. All right. Next question. Customer service ticketing. Is there a way to access additional email information? While using the customer service ticketing, is there a way to access additional information and show it on the form? Okay. Not sure what you mean by additional email information. I have seen the JS workflow code for the form sheet, but how do I know that the info in the email is named? How to access this info in the form? How is the email data mapped to the sheet? Oh, okay. Oh, so you're using the ticketing sheet, and we are, and you would like to know how the data is mapped to specific fields on the sheet. So there's a set of special attributes that you can set manually to a sheet to do this. Let me let me look it up I think it's in our KB. Okay, email. I think it's email related or software integration. Just a sec. Let me check. Um, email. Um, yeah, creating an entry from received email. So usually when you're using the ticketing system, you're basically creating an entry from a received email. It's a special feature from on Ragic so that each sheet that you have, it actually has an email address. Even each record on those sheets, they have its own email record. So if you send an email to a special email address for that sheet, it's going to create a new record. If you send an email to a specific record, it's going to create an email conversation in that record. So there's more detail on how this works on this KB article. So I'm going to provide this as a reference as the answer to this question. But I'll go through the content first to kind of make sure it says how to do this kind of manual mapping. Yeah, so here it is. So these are all the information that you could retrieve from an inbound email that you receive on Ragic. So if you want to map any of these information like email subject, the content of the email, the last update date, from address, etc., you could use these manual attributes to map those data to individual fields. And how to add manual attributes, you could just check out here on adding manual attributes. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically how you do this. So you can add manual attributes, and adding manual attributes is still pretty simple. Should you go to the other sheet? Not sure if you ever noticed that there are manual attributes here. And manual attributes, you could add attributes here for Ragic to know that this field will be used when you're mapping like the subject of the email, and it's gonna be saved in this field. Okay, check the KB article below on how to add bits to fields on the sheet, which will specify what inbound mail information should be saved to which fields. All right. Well, please let me know if the article is not clear enough. And I think it's kind of pretty self-explanatory. So you just basically just add a parameter to the fields that you would like to map the content of the inbound email to. So it should be fairly simple. Okay, next question. Stripe payments. I'm looking to potentially use the Stripe payment integration. Ragic Sheets have Stripe payment integration. I have asked on community and been told by community and Ragic to look at the article on it. However, does not answer my question of when a transaction is completed through the process. Does the process allow for a field on the form to be populated, or is it all in the bottom bar? Okay, let's check the Stripe integration article. Let me see if there's any information on that. Customization, I don't think it's here. I think it's in the integration thing. Oh, let me just check if Stripe. Processing payments. Okay, if you want to know if you can receive like a callback to know about the if the status of the payment. I think that's what you mean. Wow, I haven't used this integration for a while, so I'm not super sure about if it. I don't. Yeah, if it's not on the document, it probably doesn't have that feature yet to write back write the status back to the sheet. But of course, if the data will be totally right now, I think the data will totally be at the bottom right corner on the checkout process, but it's gonna show you the paid date and paid amount. But I don't think it's written back into Ragic yet. We should be able to do something like that with a very similar configuration like the inbound email. Like you could say that you could write back the payment date and the payment amount to a certain field. So that would certainly be doable, but I don't think we have that yet, if I remember correctly. And it's also not on our documentation, so it's most likely that we don't have a way to add those manual attributes to map the payment status back to Ragic, but we could certainly add this kind of support. And this kind of mapping is certainly not very difficult in a technical perspective. So to answer your question, right now the process is all in the bottom bar. I can talk to our development team to see if we can add design a way for users to map payment status information to fields on the sheet that the customer is doing the payment. Yeah, I don't think we have that yet, and we should be able to add some kind of manual attribute mapping. Okay, next question. I see the question in the chat room, so let's go through the question sheet first, and then let me get to the chat room. All right? Thanks. So because we only have we have 4 left, but let's go through them first. Okay, first, next one. Can you improve on the Ragic's comment function on each Ragic entry so that the user has an overview of all comments he has issued? Okay, so you want to know all the comments that a user has issued. Interesting. Can we do that with like recent changes? By user name, the comments, I think the comments appear here, but yeah, but we can't filter out all comments only. Like you could filter out, changes made by me, and it's gonna include my comments. But we don't have the comments only yet. But let's take a look at the detail of the question. When communicating with another user through comment function of Ragic entry, we have to reply on memory to check back on the Ragic entry if a response has been received. For example, if I ask another user to clarify an entry using comment function, and if he does not respond promptly, it's possible I may forget about the request for clarification, especially if I have made requests multiple times. It is impossible to remember or track which entries I have made the request. I may suggest allowing user to pin a marker on the comment entry. Pin a marker on the comment entry where all comments with the markers can be viewed from a consolidation page. Maybe like adding a star. Similar to task function at the top right-hand corner or MS Outlook's follow-up markers. Yeah, I think you could add a star to the current record. That would be the current workaround. But in the future, we will look into, maybe if we can either star a comment, or we could add a follow-up task to a comment or an entry. But I think starring a comment would be kind of helpful too. We'll consider one of these options. Starring a comment, 2, adding creating a task from a comment. All right. Yeah, we'll consider doing these for future Okay. All right. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, is the CRM fully compatible with Apple laptop, iPad? Well, first of all, we're not a CRM application per se, but we do have, because we are a no-code database application builder, but we do have templates and CRM templates. We do have a lot of users who use Ragic as a CRM application. So I'm going to answer as Ragic, not as a CRM application. So is Ragic fully compatible with Apple laptop? Yeah, I'm using Apple laptop right now. So, and a lot of us use Apple laptop on a daily basis on our team. So I would say, if you have Safari or Chrome, it's fully compatible with the Apple laptop. And if you're using iPad, you can also install a native app. We have an iOS app that you can install on your iPad, or you could just open the browser on your iPad to access Ragic. So yeah, basically Ragic is fully compatible with Apple laptop and iPad. Also install Ragic native iOS app to access data. Open. All right. Oops. Thank you for your question. Okay. Can I look up a group of contacts and mail merge with Word/Outlook to email and print labels and documents? Look up a group of contacts. Okay, I'm assuming that your group of contacts are in the database as a sheet. So if you mail merge with Word, right now we don't have mail merge with Outlook, but you can mail merge with Word. So yeah, you can create a Word template to do mail merge and create multiple Word documents based on each record you have on Ragic. So on Ragic, yeah, it's actually pretty a pretty popular function on Ragic to do these kind of mail merge. Mail merge. All right, here. Yeah, so you could create a template, either an Excel or Word template, and you just put down the field names in there. And when exporting a record on Ragic, it's gonna replace these kind of syntax, and we will put the actual field value to replace these. Or if it's in a subtable, it's going to replace multiple lines of this to create the actual Word output or Excel output. So, for example, this is an Excel template, and with all these syntax in there, and or maybe this is a Word template with these syntax referencing the fields that you have on your sheet. And when you are downloading an actual template, this is also a possible template. When you're downloading an actual template, it's going to fill in the variables and display the actual data in there. So you can reference this article to do these kind of mail merge. It does support mail merge. You can create a Word document as template and use your data records on Ragic to do mail merges, creating multiple Word documents based on your custom template. Okay, so here's the document for your reference. Okay, next question. Hide gaps from not accessible fields on the on the listing page. I'm guessing conditional formatting. Jeff, please make possible to hide those gaps between columns completely because it looks weird and makes worse user experience. This happens when you turn off the access to a field for a particular user role. Please make a fix. There's no a single reason to keep it like this. Thanks. All right. Yeah. Yeah. We're actually doing something on the overall layout, not just the listing page, but also the form page. We're trying to have a more smarter automated layout on this. So I know on the listing page it seems a little bit trivial. You just move all the fields to the left. So yeah, we will be working on this. We'll be working on this to make sure that the layout looks better when something in the layout is removed. This is something we're working on right now. Just or not just listing page, but changes due to field access setting or conditional formatting, the layout will not look strange. All right, and yeah, we're mostly a little bit more stuck on the form page, but we should probably do listing page if we get stuck on the form page again, because for the listing page is kind of, it's just simpler. You just move all the fields from at the right hand side, one column to the left. So yeah, I understand. We are working on that, and we will be doing a fix for this. Yeah, I'll check on the progress for this too. All right, and that's it for the question on the question sheet. And let me go back to the chat room. Okay, the question about the location field. Okay, Suraj is trying to implement a location check-in feature on Ragic. Let's suppose he has a sheet where he has GPS locations on specific customers. That's called a customer sheet. All right. You have the GPS locations. I'm guessing that you have imported them or entered them manually. In another sheet that's called the visits sheets, I'm tracking customer visits. I saw the feature to get users' GPS location from the Ragic mobile app. Yeah, we have a new feature on the Ragic mobile app to retrieve user GPS locations for them to record where they are on like as field values. My question is there any way to compare the GPS coordinates and understand which customer location in the mobile app user present at? Oh, you want to show that no, you are at a certain customer site. Well, you have to kind of define how close. You have to define how close do you want to say that he's at the customer site. This could be a little bit ambiguous. Is there any formula to compare GPS coordinates so we could compare if the check location is within range of like 10, 20 meters from the customer location and mark that visit to that specific customer? Because sometimes GPS locations cannot be accurate. Okay, so if you have two, we should be able to calculate the distance between two GPS coordinates with a new function that we could possibly design. But what you're saying is that you want to know which, before creating a record, you want to know where the sales rep is, which customer site. Okay, in another way to say this is that when the sales rep is creating an activity record on the sheet, like he's recording his current visit to a customer in the CRM, he would like to maybe automatically fill out which customer he is visiting by calculating the distance between his current location and a customer, and have a dynamic filtering to find the nearest customer. Yeah, I don't think right now we could make it that. Yeah, we could do something like that. Well, first of all, we will need a function to calculate the distance between two GPS coordinates. And then we'll need to have a way to find the customer with the shortest distance between the current location and its location. So yeah, I would say currently we don't have a way to do that. And if we were to implement something like this, I would guess that there should be quite a bit of other features that would be needed, including the formula to calculate distance and a special way of dynamic filtering could work to find the closest customer. So yeah, I don't think we have a good way to do exactly that right now. And yeah, and it doesn't sound like something that we could just make little changes to our product to support this. So well, yeah, this is from the description that I hear and kind of my suggestion right now, because we could start by having a function to calculate the distance between two GPS coordinates. That's not too difficult. But as the next step to automatically find the nearest customer, I think that would be where the problem would be. That's the place there should be a problem there. But I think for a first step, I could talk to our team to see if we can do some formula to calculate distance between two GPS coordinates. I think that could be pretty useful for a lot of users. Yeah. All right, I hope this kind of answer your question. And if you have any other question or any other suggestion or maybe some other ideas that might simplify this kind of requirement, feel free to let me know through the question sheet, and we could discuss it in our next Ragic office hour session. And thank you for everyone for joining in on the Ragic office hour webinar. And if you have any other questions, also feel free to use the office question sheet. And I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks. All right, thank you. Goodbye.